the Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast. Brought to you by property and business coach Daniel Latto. Join the conversation at www.daniellatto.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe.
Hi, and welcome to the Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast. My name is Dan Latto, and in this podcast, we've got a Facebook Live. So I did a Facebook Live in the last couple of days, and of course, not everybody can watch the Facebook Lives, but the information in those Facebook Live events are really important. So I wanted to share them, and I wanted to get them down as a podcast. And so here is that Facebook Live. Speak soon. And good morning, everybody. It's Dan Latto speaking. We are live in the Facebook group, and we are on podcast 200. We finally made it to podcast 200. It's been a long, hard slog. Imagine sitting down and recording 200 podcasts. It takes a lot of work. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, congratulations to me. Woohoo! Party hat. I've not got one on. Party poppers. Not got them. It's just a normal day. So we're very proud, obviously, of having achieved 200 podcasts. It's no mean feat. I was looking at the viewing figures just yesterday, actually. Well, this morning, but yesterday's. I noticed that actually we've had one of the highest download days ever yesterday, and it's funny because I've not actually posted podcasts out on iTunes and that kind of thing since the start of this year, and we're a little bit behind on that, so we're just about to catch up. But even so, it goes in peaks and troughs, and it was a peak, and that's amazing, right? We've not done anything other than our normal marketing. Sharing social media content, sending emails, just speaking to people coming and finding you, etc., etc., etc. So it just goes to show that the effects that running a podcast can actually have on your business. Now, let me go back, because we first started our very first podcast. It was released on the 6th of June, 2015. So that's 3.5 years ago. Like, is that right? 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, it's 3.5 years. That's just amazing, right? So it doesn't feel like that. I thought it was like 2 years. But 3.5 years in, so we started in June 2015. We were still living in Spain. But the problem that I had was, having moved to Spain, I noticed a considerable impact on my business because I couldn't go around and speak at events in the UK. So I was having loads of problems because my awareness out in the marketplace just dipped, and people didn't know we existed, didn't know what we could do to help them, and so on. So I was looking for a method, and I was still a little bit shy about going on camera a huge amount. And I still have moments like that, but I was having real moments 3.5 years ago. So I thought, okay, how about if I just start slowly, start recording podcasts, recording audio. People can't see me, and then it's a lot easier. And that's what we did. We bought the microphone, which if you're watching, you can see a little bit of. It's a Blue Yeti. We've got lapel microphones, which is on my desk somewhere, which is still messy from yesterday because I've not tidied it, where you would clip on. I've done podcasts while driving. A lot of people don't like that. That's okay. If it was that illegal, Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson would be behind bars right now for all their Top Gear stuff. But we've recorded podcasts doing that. We've done podcasts sat at the beachfront where the guy's turning up with his beer barrels, and you can hear the beer barrels rolling down. And I was dubious about that one until the next day when we released it, and I got an email from a guy saying that was the best one yet. And I thought, that's amazing. It's like, if you've got content to put out there, it doesn't matter where you are or what you look like, what you sound like, the content is relevant. We've had people emailing in saying that they're in tears. They had to pull the van over because they're driving along and they're in tears because the realization that they can go out and do something, which is amazing. We've had interviews with some awesome people. Like, if I just pull up the list of all the podcasts that we've done, obviously there's quite a lot on our website. But we've got, how to drop 50,000 leaflets and not get charged for it, which is amazing. We've got some really good property coaches on here. Francis Dolly, Vicky Rouchet. We've got Johnny Cass, who's an NLP trainer, Jim Halliburton, Arshil Ahe, Atukshi Punwasi, Dan Bradbury, who's a business coach, very good one at that. Barry Davis, Mark Donnan, who's a marketing coach. He'll hate me for calling him a marketing coach. We've got Matthew Moody. Like, it's a who's who of interviewees. And you'll also notice that noticeably there are people missing from that list, people who are very well known, but I decided not to have on my property podcast show, mostly because I think they're a bit of a cock, quite honestly. So there's a nice little bit of controversy just in the first few minutes. We had a guy, Mark Evans from West Palm Beach, Florida, with 100 deals a month he was doing on average, which is amazing. We've got a lot of me, obviously, but then in the me stuff, we're talking about rent to rent, lease options, buy to let, property sourcing. We do a lot of property sourcing. We talk about business, websites, social media. We deal with planning finances. We deal with mental health. We deal with a lot of NLPs built into each and every one of these, by the way. We even had a wonderful interview about boilers, like not ex-wives, by the way. It's a little bit of unpolitically correct, misogynistic. I'll probably go down in 10 years and I won't be allowed to host the Oscars for that phrase right there. But we've had an awful lot. A lot of marketing, how to not be a chump at property networking events. I mean, the whole list is on there, daniellatto.co.uk/podcast. You go and take a look and you can go and listen to each and every one. All of them are downloadable on iTunes. But then also the landscape has changed considerably over the last 3.5 years. We've had the tenant tax coming in, Section 24, and rents are just shooting up. We keep telling people that rents are going to go up. We keep telling people that people are going to get made homeless. We keep getting told that we don't know what we're talking about. You know, we've only been in this industry 20 years. What the hell would we know compared with someone who reads the Daily Mail or the Guardian, for example? You know, we are nobody compared to them and all their experience of not buying property for 20 years. But we've been explaining to them why homelessness is going to increase. Nobody listens. And whoa, I was in Leeds over Christmas. Homelessness, it's like McDonald's. There's one on every street corner. It's horrendous. And we keep telling them, we keep explaining to them, but they're not interested in that. And that's okay. That's up to them. We used to do a lot of charity work for the homeless, and actually we've pulled all the way back because it's like sweeping up with a dustpan and brush after the Los Angeles earthquake. It just makes no difference at all. So we just pulled back. We're still deciding what we're going to do on that. One of the plans eventually will be to have our own homeless shelter at some point. We spoke to Leeds City Council about that, but Article 4, we had a house lined up, a 4-bed house with 2 reception rooms, and we were effectively going to get either 6 rooms out of that, or we were going to get people like bunking in, you know, like bunk beds and sharing, so we've got a home for the night. And so we had a 6-point plan to move people forward out of homelessness, but like, you know, no one's really interested. I'll be honest with you, nobody's interested in helping the homeless. Your local government's not interested, your MP's not interested, the government's not interested. They're not interested at all. But it's been an interesting 3.5 years going through that process and just learning just how little of a shit people actually give, the people in power that are supposed to actually care about that stuff. So that's been a real eye-opener, and I've learned a lot from that about like trying to push water uphill. And at some point, you need to look at which battles you want to fight and which ones there's no point in fighting, and just think, you know, just forget it. Podcast 100. Let's just see when we did that one, by the way, because that's quite interesting for me. Where is it? So podcast 100. It's not there. Page 3. So let me have a look. I'm looking on the back office of our podcast show. It tells us all our stats and all of that kind of thing. Everyone should have a podcast, by the way. If you've not got a podcast yet, you're seriously missing out on a large chunk of business. And, you know, I know you get nervous in front of a camera. You don't have to go in front of a camera like this. You can just do it straight into the microphone. Podcast 100 was in February of 2017. So, yeah, about half and half. Like at the moment, we go live every Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. At some point, that's going to change to 12, just so that we can get a few more live viewers and so on. We don't get a huge amount of live viewers at all, so we need to do something about that. But then the group which we go live in hasn't got a huge amount of people, so we need to do something about that. But then once the podcast goes out and onto iTunes, this is why you guys need a podcast. Once it goes out onto iTunes, it gets found, you know. Like yesterday, we had one of the highest days we've ever had, and we've not released any podcasts for like like 10 days or so, and yet we're still doing it. And if imagine the number of downloads we'd have had if we'd have kept on pushing out that content. So we have to get more consistent. Let's talk about consistency for a second on doing any kind of marketing. This is why we've got the social marketing media company, is because I struggle with consistency on my own stuff, and I'm pretty good, okay? Today's podcast was going to be about why you should outsource everything. That'll be tomorrow's podcast, I expect. But if it's just left to little old me, this is actually one of the reasons why we've got a social media marketing company, because I've got staff. I've got a team of staff that now work directly for me. They pump out all my stuff. There's still some bottlenecks in there, which is to do with the podcast, which we're going to resolve in the next couple of weeks. But you should be outsourcing everything. That's going to be a podcast for tomorrow, so let me not ruin that. But I'm a bottleneck in my business, and I recognize that, okay? Gary Vee recognizes it. Grant Cardone recognizes it. You listen to a Grant podcast, he's like, other people's money, other people's efforts. So that's what you've got to be doing. You've got to be starting to outsource stuff. And that's some of the stuff we'll be doing to maintain that consistent level. We've been very inconsistent on the podcast, but they're going to be a lot more consistent as we move forward through into 2019. But that's the plan. We've got it all written down on sheets of paper. We know what we're doing with it. We know where we're supposed to be going. But if you've not got a podcast yet, and if you've not even thought about a podcast because you're worried about what people will think, it's like, forget about what people are going to think. At some point, you're going to have a podcast, okay? So why not make that some point now? Why wait 10 years when you're 10 years older and you've missed out on 10 years of growing your business? Like, why will you be more confident in 10 years than you are today? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're going to do it, you might as well do it now. If you're in a bar and the girl's over there and you want to go and ask the girl out, why would you wait till the end of the night when someone else might go over, or guy, or whatever, right? So why would you do that? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you get one life and you're dead, right? I'm not fussed about what your religious belief is right now, but like, until there's evidence to prove otherwise, we're floating around on clouds after we die, which there isn't as yet. We're dead. It's over. Okay, there's nothing else to come. Maybe there is, but why not like hedge your bets and make this life the best life ever? If you've got a business and you want to get out to more people, not everybody can sit and watch Facebook Lives like this every morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Just people can't do it. Like, they're getting the kids ready for school, they're jumping in the car, they can't watch the Facebook Live in the car. But what they can do is they can go to iTunes and download yesterday's episode and then listen to that in the car. Like, I've got little headphones, a little Christmas present to myself, and rather than using the wired ones, I now use these. These are a pair of Bose, and they're just like little wireless headsets. And like, I took the dog out for a walk, put my hat on because it's a little bit cold, just wear these. I can listen to stuff anywhere. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, sat waiting to pick up a little one from school. It works so well. And then podcasts will give you the accessibility to more and more people, which is what you want. Like, when we talk about sales, whatever that is in sales, it's about KLT. People have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. People can't trust you if they've never heard of you, okay? People can't like you if you don't know who you are. And people won't know you unless you put yourself out there across every single medium that we've got. In the olden days, we had newspapers, okay? So that was our print. That was what we read. Now we've got blogs, we've got Facebook, we've got articles. You should be writing every day, and that's a gap in my business too. We've also used to have the radio of a wireless. Do you remember the wireless? And then we had digital audio, radio, whatever that's called, DAB. Anyway, digital audio, digital radio. And now we've got podcasts, okay? And podcasts have come all the way back. I remember buying tapes. The first Tony Robbins I ever bought was a set of cassettes. And I put it in the cassette deck and would listen to Tony Robbins of a Walkman, and I'd listen to that, And if I knew what I knew now, all that time ago, I would have been creating so many CDs and so many sets of tapes and been shipping them out at £150 a month. Do you know what I mean? That's how we would have been growing the business back then, but we didn't know that back then, But now we've got podcasting, which replaces the radio. I don't listen to the radio very often in my car. I've got podcasts on, okay? Because every bit of time that I've got is really important. When I'm walking the dog, I'm listening to a podcast. Or I'm speaking to somebody on the phone, okay? Like, literally every bit of time I make a use of. those olden days. Tony's just saying, yeah, do you remember those? Or you buy videos and they come, videos, and you put them in of really bad quality and stuff. And obviously they're filmed on tape as well, not this 4K, ultra 4K video that we've got now. And then we'd have TV as well, wouldn't we, with the videos? And now instead of TV, I mean, we've got Netflix. When we think about what your competition is about going live on any medium, be it video, be it radio, be it text, you've got stuff like Netflix, you've got digital radio, you've got other people's podcasts. But the competition these days isn't necessarily the other person in your industry doing a podcast, right? That's not necessarily your competition. Your competition is Netflix. So this is what you're up against. And you might go, well, I'm never going to win against Netflix, so why bother? But you will, because, if someone wants... Netflix are not putting my content out there, right? They're not putting your content out there. And until they do, that's your gap in the market. And even if some of the more famous people in the UK who do podcasts and shows and take people's money and put them on a training course and then automatically upsell them to the next training course and then upsell them onto the next training course and then the next training course, having a conveyor belt of people paying them money, mentioning no names here. But even if they went on Netflix, that's still not necessarily your competition, because that's them and people don't necessarily like them because they know what they're doing. They're just making a lot of money and not giving out all the information. We know who those are, no names mentioned, right? So, stripy shirts. So, so your job right now is to get as much content out as possible, okay? It's just to keep pushing out content, push it out as much as you can, and then people start to know you. Now, does it have to be good quality content? Yeah, I'd say so. It needs to be pretty good content. Can you put crap content out to begin with? Yeah. You're going to get better because nobody wants crap content out there. So you're going to force yourself to get better. When we talk about content, sometimes I go live and I'm like, don't know what I'm going to talk about. Let's make something up. Like literally, I do not know what I'm going to talk about sometimes. And that's quite risky. Obviously, I quite enjoy it as well. I quite enjoy the challenge of that. But it's better if you have a list of things that you want to talk about. And if you go type 100 blogs to write about on Google, it will give you a whole list of stuff that you can talk about. But you just start small. Start small and work your way up. If you've got spare time, if you're sat in your bedroom, sat in a lounge, if you're sat waiting to pick your kid up like I was, put the camera in the car, pull over, press record, go live, go record something for 2 or 3 minutes, upload it to Instagram. It's got a minute of limitation there. Go on Twitter, go on Periscope, Meerkat as it used to be called. There's all this stuff out there. Go on Facebook Live, just record a video, just record an audio, and start pushing it out to your list. Put it on your website, put it on your email list and that kind of thing. But you've got to be getting as much content out as you possibly can and shipping it out. Because as soon as you start doing that, right, people are going to notice you. Like today, we got a day of strategy calls. We're recruiting somebody or looking to recruit somebody this morning as part of the content coordinator for the social media stuff. And then after that, we've got a string of strategy sessions, okay? So the string of strategy sessions is happening because we push out so much content. It goes out regularly. We put the replays out. We put the new stuff out. We've got old videos. We've got new videos. We've got old images. We've got new images. We've got old content. We've got new content. And it all goes out and it all drives people back. We are getting people finding us on Google now. So what was really funny was I was having it wasn't a coaching call, but I was having a phone call with a client, and we did a quick search for their primary keyword, and I actually was number one, I think, for their primary keyword, and then they were like number 2 and 3, and some of their videos were number 2 and 3 and 4, and I was the one who created the videos for them, right? So we got them to top page Google other than me, and then the videos that we created, we got them there as well. But that then drives traffic back to their website because we've got those keywords. We do videos on YouTube, which are primarily keyword based, okay, to try and get to the top of Google on video so that our video comes up. All that is raising awareness. We might not close a client from that video overnight, although it can happen. So as a result of the podcast, for example, we did a we had a guy that found us on iTunes. He then found us on YouTube. And the next morning after a strategy session paid us a lot of money, thousands of pounds for coaching. So it can be overnight, but that's not necessarily what we're after. What we're after is building up awareness that we actually exist. And then when people know that we actually exist, then they can choose to listen to us more or not. But we've got every medium covered. If they want to read about us, they can do that. If they want to, although not as much, I should say. If they want to listen to us, we've got 200 podcasts that they can now listen to. That's a lot of hours. That's like 180 hours, I reckon. That's a lot of content, right? If they want to get us on video, they can come and get us on video. If they want to sit and watch video, perfect, not a problem. If they want to come and connect with us all over social media, they can do that because we've got every channel covered. So this is all about getting people out to know you, and then they can start to like you, and then they can start to trust you. But you've got to start getting this content out. All right, I hope that's useful for you. Podcast 200. My next job is go to the coffee shop and go interview this chap. And then my next job after that is to book in all his strategy calls and see where we're up to on that. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. But as ever, we will be back in the morning. Thank you, Tony. Awesome achievement on reaching 200. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a long, hard slog, and I've been very inconsistent, and I'm still working on that consistency. But we will catch up with you in tomorrow's episode. All right. My name's Dan Latto. Have a great day, folks. Take care.
The Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast, brought to you by property and business coach Daniel Latto. Join the conversation at www.daniellatto.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe.